the real deal New England feel.
I went up the rail. I might so down to be ashamed of myself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe's all excited about Wildcard Weekend. Joe's with us in the booth, and you are watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast, you catch us. And Joe's clicking that right now. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Give us that thumbs up. Like the show. That's what we're looking for. Leave a comment. We'll play it. And send us an email on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Got a busy one today. Hey, listen, it's all football. It's all Patriots all the time. Hey, we got a little Catone's comments mixed in there, so stick around. But in Weekly Rewind, going to talk about the Patriots' final game of the year against Miami a little bit. But more so, we're going to talk about who's the best team in the AFC, what do the Patriots look like, what are some of their issues. Stick around for that. And, of course, again, Catone's comments. We want to hear what he's got to bring to the table. Last week was funny. So let's see what this week's going to hold. And then in Pat's preview, going to break down the game. Usually we do this more so on the Pats Nation, which we will do tomorrow. But we're going to do it today, too. In course, so Catone here.
Listen, it's big. It's Wildcard Weekend. Joe, did you go to that game last week, that Miami game?
No.
No, you didn't go. I thought I saw you on TV. I saw somebody with a Miami Dolphin shirt on. Looked like you.
That was my stunt double.
Yeah, so we're going to break down the game, this Chargers game, talk all about that. But, gentlemen, how are we doing?
Listen, you and I have been waiting for, 4 years to host the playoff game?
Nobody feels bad for us, though.
No.
Would you only have to wait 4 years? I mean,
Yeah, right? Nobody feels bad for us waiting.
Can you imagine being Cleveland?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
One of those, the Jets?
No, that's even worse. Imagine being in New York. If we were the Jets, you would be in jail. Right now.
That's for sure.
Falsetto.
It is. That would be falsetto for sure. But
oh, good Lord.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. And so we want to get right into it. We want to talk about this week that the Patriots are now in the playoffs, and they're 14-3 final. Let's say it again, Mark. 14-3.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's almost hard to believe, Chris, based on what we were predicting the week before the season started when we did our preview show.
6-7 wins.
Yeah.
Well,
we
let's
thought
do it.
Joe was crazy. What did he pick? 10?
But you know what? Let's get into it in Weekly Rewind. Let's do it right now, Joe. Going back through the week. About a weekly rewind.
In victory formation, Josh Dobbs to take the snap, and Drake May to be serenaded once again by this crowd in Foxborough with chants of MVP. The Patriots, division champs. They won't be the number 1 seed, it looks like, but they're bound for the playoffs in a matchup, it appears, with the Los Angeles Chargers. Time and day to be determined. But there's no denying what a special season this has been for the Pats collectively and for their second-year quarterback individually, ending this campaign on a 38-10 note with a rout of the Dolphins.
Okay, 59-yard field goal. Okay, third longest in team history, longest ever in Gillette, 81 times. Okay, we've been doing pretty good picking these game captains. Okay, Mondre, 56-yard run. 3 tugs. Move past Kevin Falk in the 5th place franchise history. Mondre. Drake, 72% completion percentage in the regular season. Highest in team history. Drake.
Team history.
Little buddy, 7th time, over 1,000 digs. Okay, fellas, I know there's a lot of great efforts right there. Okay, but here's what happens. The whole thing restarts. Okay, it starts all over. Okay, you put yourself in a great position, and I'm proud of you. We set out to improve. I know we did. We took a little nap there in the second quarter, but we came out in the second half determined to improve, and you did. but we're starting over, and that's what happens in this thing. Because now, if you have a nap, yep, right.
Done.
So no naps. Okay, no naps. Stick together. I love watching you guys celebrate. I love watching you guys play. Okay, I got the best seat in the house over there. Thank you, coaches. They care more about you than you have no idea. Okay, they're over there figuring out plays every single week for you guys to have success and for this team to have success. Check in now for any injuries. Take care of your bodies because now it really starts. The tournament has begun.
All right, that was
You
that was
notice-
the final call.
Yeah, you notice, Chris, too, that you said this from the beginning, that you thought he was a little bit more like Parcells than Belichick. And Parcells always referred to the playoffs as the tournament.
Right.
That was like a Parcells line, and Vrabel is using it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he played for Parcells, but he is similar to him.
Yeah, no, he didn't play for Parcells, but yeah, I mean, listen, he is. You're right. It's more the psychological element of how to deal with these people versus, because let's not forget, Parcells was a psych guy, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Isn't that his like degree or something? So like, Belichick just didn't. Belichick was like a robot. It was like a computer, So I mean, that was a completely different animal altogether. Okay, so 72%, highest in team history. Guess who else played for this team?
Jim Plunkett.
Yes, Steve Grogan, Tony Eason, and Jim Plunkett, and he beat them all, Mark. So don't forget Hugh Millen.
There we go. That was Joe's favorite, Hugh Millen.
Yeah, Hugh Millen. Was that? Oh, was he terrible? Number 7. Anyway, so okay, is this the best team in the AFC? If so, why? Why not? What do you say here? And we could talk about this Miami game, but do we really need to? I mean, they wiped their ass for them. It's
They did. But Chris, Miami did have. I'm going to say this. Miami did have some pockets where they were able to move the ball up the field and run the ball. Still, something that you and I are nervous about this weekend is the run game on defense. There's the defensive side of the ball, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
We'll get into it. So, Chris, the AFC, I think, is wide open. Everyone says, "Oh, were they the best team?" Nah, they didn't play anybody. Well, when you look at all the teams in the AFC, Chris, did anyone take a look at the Denver Broncos schedule? No one's criticizing who, you know what I mean? I heard somebody this week on one of the stations say, well, you realize they only play 3 winning teams all year and they're 1-2. Well, okay. They lost a 21-0 lead to Buffalo, and they had 5 turnovers against Pittsburgh in week 2 and still had a chance to win the game. If they play Pittsburgh again, Chris, it'll be a blowout. We'll blow them out. So I don't want to hear that nonsense. Listen, I think they got as good a shot as anybody. But I'm going to steal your Chris. You got to get by this first game. This first game is going to be the most difficult. We think the second matchup would probably be the easier of the 2 games.
Bradshaw was the only person who actually said what you just said, Mark, about them, like, not caring about the fact that, like, they had this quote unquote, like, easy schedule. He's like, any Sunday, anything can happen. And he's 100% right. You never know. They're all professional teams. I don't understand that they're like, oh, they all.
Chris, I think the AFC is wide open. So, why not us? And you and I, that's been our motto all year. Once they started this win streak, you and I were like, well, why not us? I mean, look around the league. Why not us?
Well, when you look at quality wins, and you brought up Denver, so I pulled it up.
Yep.
When you look at quality wins, what are the Broncos' quality wins? Okay, so not the Titans. I mean, the Colts, they lost to the Colts. The Colts were good at the time. So they lost to the Chargers, who were in the playoffs. Okay, so that's a loss for them, the Broncos. The Eagles, that's a quality win, obviously. On the road in Philly, big win for Broncos. That's a quality win. The Jets, they won by 2 against the Jets, who stink. And they stunk then, and they stink now. The Giants, they beat the Giants by 1.
Last play of the game, I think.
They beat the hell out of the Cowboys. You consider that a quality win?
No. Nope.
Okay. How about Texans? That's a quality win. They won by 3, 18-15 on the road. So that's a quality win. There's 2 quality wins. They beat Kansas City in November. So that's another quality win at home, right? Other than that,
Nothing.
well, they beat Green Bay. They got their ass kicked by Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I think Green Bay's a phony team, Chris. Green Bay, even if Jordan Love plays, I have a feeling Green Bay's going home Sunday. And rumors are that coach might be fired.
So my point is this: they're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Okay, yep. is the Broncos, and they maybe have two to 3 more quality wins, if that. Would you say?
If that.
Okay, you give them the Chiefs, you give them the Eagles. Okay, big win.
Okay, and when you beat the Eagles, Chris, that was they was trying to figure things out on the defensive side of the ball. They had some injuries, and I would argue, Chris, I guess Kansas City's a quality win, but in November, Kansas City had already established themselves that they were just an average team this year. Okay, we call it a quality win because you beat Mahomes. It's you beat Mahomes whenever you beat Mahomes. Okay, we'll give you credit, but Kansas City was not a good team this year, Chris. Yeah. I don't want anyone to say, they beat Kansas City with Mahomes. Well, Kansas City was under 500 with Mahomes when he got hurt.
So when the question's asked, are the Patriots the best team in the AFC? My answer is they are, but they don't have the best roster in the AFC. To me, they have the best quarterback in the AFC. I don't know that anybody's arguing that.
Well, let's put it this way, Christy. It's not the AFC, the best quarterback in the playoffs. Because you consider him better than Mahomes?
Well, I'm talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about what we're dealing with now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Agree. I agree with that. Because I think Allen regressed this year a little bit, Chris. He's back to the old Josh Allen.
I think they have the best quarterback in the AFC right now, playoffs.
Yep.
One could argue look, he's up for the MVP. So, I mean, it's he and Stafford. Yeah. So, I mean, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Yep.
But they don't have the best roster, top to bottom. That, to me, is clear. I think the Patriots are severely flawed in their roster. I'm talking, I think Houston's got a better roster. I think Jacksonville's got a better roster. I think Denver's got a better roster. I think the Chargers have a better roster than the Patriots do. Okay? So then people say, well, then why do you think they're the best team in the AFC? Because it's things like this.
A thought on what you guys were able to do. You were here last year, 14 wins. You make the playoffs. You'll host the Chargers here next weekend in a first-round matchup. How excited are you about what you guys were able to accomplish today and all season long?
Yeah, I think we've come a long way. I think we, it takes everybody. It took everybody in that locker room, took every coach, and I think it starts now. This is what we wanted to, one of the goals, host home playoff games, and this is what we wanted to. So it's win or go home, and the mentality changes from that standpoint, but really I think we just have to stay playing like us, and we've built this identity and played to it, and I think good things happen.
And this.
Hey, Drake, in a likely MVP season, I'm interested in what you feel like that your greatest accomplishments were, this year, whether it's from a statistical standpoint with the QB rating or whatever you were able to accomplish. What stands out to you and you're the most proud of in your
accomplishments? Yeah, I think 14 wins. That's the first thing comes to mind. 14 wins and probably 8-0 on the road. That's probably the biggest thing I'm most proud of. Just going on the road 8 times and coming out, victorious all of them. So that was pretty cool. And from there, I think just the ability to get a lot of people involved. I think that's one of the best things about our offense. We get a lot of people involved, a lot of people catching passes, a lot of people scoring touchdowns, a lot of guys that are making plays at different parts of the game, and I think that's one of the toughest things about the ways to defend us. So that's probably what I'm most proud of.
Okay, that's why. Because they've gotten their quarterback to buy into. They've gotten their quarterback to buy into the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. Mm-hmm. And I, people can say, oh, you're really into all that rah-rah bullshit. Okay. Yeah, you know why? Because I've been part of teams that shouldn't win, but do.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. Because the buy-in. The coaches, the Vrabel's culture, the C word.
Well, Chris, the Patriots' first
and
Super Bowl.
McDaniel's X's and O's.
When we beat the Rams. We didn't have a better roster than that team. We had no business beating that team.
No.
Right?
Joe, you started to say.
Well, I was going to ask you guys a question. what's the basis, for the argument that like they played like mediocre teams? Because like what if they win the Super Bowl, then now you get to say, oh well, they played shitty teams, they don't deserve it. Is that what? Like I don't understand.
Well, you can't.
You
can't. Listen, Mark,
Chris, the
the
99 Rams played an easier schedule than we did.
They did.
Statistically, and they won the whole thing. Do you think
Yep.
Dick Vermeil cares? Oh, you guys had the easiest schedule in history, the NFL.
Nobody
Okay, Super Bowl ring.
That argument's going to go out the door if they win this game Sunday.
Yeah, they have to win Sunday. If for some reason they lose Sunday, Chris, then that's what everyone's going to throw in their face.
Then it's on the table.
We knew they weren't good. They just had an easy schedule. They weren't ready yet. We knew that. That's what you're going to hear.
It's the mindset of this team going in. It's the experience in the coaching room on the offensive side of the ball. Listen, I'm giving Josh McDaniels a ton of credit in this situation because and his staff, all the other guys, Ash Genty and whoever the hell else Vrabel likes to mention, because his play calling, especially in the second half of the year, had a red zone issue. Gone, solved it. Okay. The way he's got May climbing pockets, footwork is a thing of the past. We were worried about his footwork. Yeah, we're not anymore. So what they've been able to do with May, what they've been able to do to get him to be able to read defenses, not even read defenses, run this offense and get every ounce of everything they can out of the talent they have. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think.
No, I agree. I agree. And you're right about May. When I asked him that MVP question, Chris, he everything that he talked about revolved around team, right? Like you said, it's the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. Everything, his entire answer revolved around team. And that's that C word, it's culture. And even, you played that clip of Vrabel in the locker room. Even that last, piece there with him was, he's congratulating guys, but he's letting them know, guys, had a good year, but now it really begins. Like the tournament starts. Forget the 14 wins. That's meaningless. This is what we played for. Now it really starts. Because if you go home, yeah, exactly. He said, we can't fall asleep now, because if you fall asleep now, it's over. Right?
Right.
So he knows that. He's been there. He's done it. He's won rings.
Yeah, I don't think people...
And that's important, Chris. He's won rings on the field. He knows what it takes to get through this tournament and how, difficult it is. The intensity comes up. Drake May's going to have to be, and McDaniels knows. He's coached championship teams on the offensive side of the ball. The intensity, it's going to be a little different for Drake May, Chris. He's going to have to come out in the first quarter, settle his emotions down and settle in and try to get into a rhythm. And I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. And listen, the teams that Vrabel played on weren't the most talented teams.
No, he knows that.
Yeah, because go back and look at all the Pro Bowl selections. There weren't many. You never had a ton of Patriots in the Pro Bowl. You never had that.
And if you remember something, Chris, in those early
Hall
years,
of Fame is all of that. You don't have it.
Those early years, before Belichick and that whole, everything started with Belichick and Brady and all that nonsense. Those early years, they always had some kind of mantra, us against the world.
That's right.
Yep. And they also had that C culture in the locker room. It was us against the world. Nobody, you know what I mean? And this team has that.
It always sounded like this.
Ready is this team?
That's it. I mean, I don't know if it's like a scale of super ready or not ready. I mean, each week is going to be different. We don't know who we're playing right now. Each week is going to definitely be different. But it's win or go home, and everybody's aware of that. You're going to want to be on the details. I'm going to say the same thing that got us there. We have this little saying, don't switch to macaroni and cheese. The analogy came from somebody on Thanksgiving, came to their family gathering, and they made new mac and cheese, and they say, don't try and error on our day. You know what I'm saying? So same recipe, don't change the mac and chease. Washington, they're a hell of a team from what I've seen from over here. They got an amazing quarterback, they got a good defense. Same stuff I'm gonna echo each and every week. It's kind of weird because I feel like people were talking about strength of schedule. We saw some really good teams this year. I guess to other people, these aren't amazing athletes, but when you out there, you see them and they play.
man. It's just the same thing. Like, this team is just so close. We've all come together. We have a lot of fun together. There's such a good blend of young guys, old guys. And I feel like personalities have really gelled and come together. So it's just really special. Everybody's, fired up for the guy next to him to make a play. No one really cares about, who makes the play. It's just, that we make that play. So it's a special group to be a part of.
You can't imagine what that mentality. Look, these guys are all NFL football players. They're all good.
Yeah.
On every playoff team, they're all good.
Yeah.
What is going to make this team better than this team? And this is the kind of crap that it is. This is it. What's the intangible? This is the intangible. I haven't seen a team this season, an NFL roster, this galvanized.
Yeah.
Like this team is. You?
No. I agree. Listen, I agree 100%, Chris, with that.
Because they shouldn't have 14 wins.
No.
That's why.
Oh,
this is not a team that should. This is not a 14-win team. It just isn't. If you think about it, if you really look at this roster, it's not. So, and it starts with the quarterback, and we're going to get to that on the other side. This portion of Weekly Rewind was presented by the Pats Nation. Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have our full breakdown of this Chargers playoff matchup. Make sure you're sticking around for that. Going to have our locks of the week and Sunday spread. When we come back, going to continue on Weekly Rewind. Going to get to the quarterback, talk a little MVP, and so much more. Stick around.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means
It's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Extremely accurate. He's made the most of every passing opportunity. We created a lot of X plays. And to create X plays, it's about 30% scheme. It's about 70% the players making a play, and part of that is the quarterback putting it in a great location for run after catch. So I think you continue to see that his ability to extend, use his legs to gain first downs, critical first downs, his ability to score when we've asked him to score and run it in. He's been everything that we've asked, and he continues to get better. He's not satisfied. So I know that our success of where we are right now today has a lot to do with Drake May.
Yes, I think Matthew's the MVP of the league. He played that way. Wouldn't want anybody else leading the way. Got a lot of respect for a bunch of people in this league. But there's nobody I'd rather have being the quarterback of the L.A. Rams than Matthew Stafford. His play speaks for itself.
Is Matthew Stafford your MVP, or do you want to give it to the fellow Patriot, Drake May?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't get a vote. I think what Matthew Stafford's done this season has been absolutely remarkable. 46 touchdowns. That's, for any quarterback, that's a dream season. So he's been spectacular. Drake May on the other side has done some incredible things with Josh McDaniels in their first year together. Drake's got a long career ahead. I'm sure he's going to have many opportunities. I would say Matthew Stafford.
Falsetto.
Screw you. You know what? You petty bastard, Tom. You petty bastard, Brady. You don't want Brady. You don't want May getting that MVP. That's all that's about right there. So that was, of course, Vrabel, Sean McVay, and Tom Brady talking about the MVP race here.
Wait, Chris, I'm afraid, though, what Brady said there at the end is what is going to sway enough voters. I think they're going to have that same mentality. May's got his whole career ahead of him. This is almost going to be like a lifetime achievement award for Stafford, I think, in some sense, Chris. And I think it'll be enough. It'll be a close vote, but I think that's what's going to tilt the tide towards Stafford.
Pisses you off, though, because
it does.
You sit there and you say to yourself, okay, see, the way I look at it is like this. The way I think they should vote, if somebody who has a vote, what they should be looking at is, okay, if Josh Allen had these numbers, if Josh Allen had the identical season that Drake May has had,
he'd be MVP without question.
Then there it is. Then therefore Drake May is the MVP of the league, right?
Yes, but he's not. I'm telling you, Chris, he's not going to be. It's going to be.
Well,
Listen,
I mean,
McVay was even padding stats in that game towards the end.
Yeah, because he knows he needed to. Listen, let me give you a couple of some of the numbers. 72% completion percentage. By the way, the best in Patriots history. It's with the GOAT.
That's included the GOAT who was just talking.
To 65% for Stafford. 4,300 yards. Almost 4,400 yards for May. 4,700 yards for Stafford. So he edges them there. Touchdown. See, this is where the lazy voters go to Stafford. Because when you look at he's about 300 yards more, and he's 35 touchdowns to 8 interceptions for May, 46 touchdowns, 11 more touchdowns for Stafford, and same amount of interceptions. Okay. QB rating. May has got him at 113 to 109. Okay. 14-3 record versus a 12-5 record. And I put the records in there because there's a couple of things to me. So if you're lazy when you're voting, then you're going to just say, well, he threw more touchdown passes. He threw a few hundred more yards. That Stafford's the MVP.
He's the MVP, yeah.
But he's not. Because in every metric you can find outside of these numbers, May has far surpassed. Less attempts. Okay, May has had less attempts to get to that many yards. So he's a hell of a lot more efficient. How do you see the schedule versus May is not throwing in Nakua and he's not throwing to what's his name? Adams. He doesn't have the talent that Stafford has. Do those two cancel each other? How do you reconcile those two situations?
So I think they cancel each other, Chris. And also don't forget they're playing at home.
Yeah.
For 8 games. And then when you looked at a couple of the other teams they played some other teams that were dome teams as well. I think I had read, Chris, that they played like 10 games in a dome.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think that's going to factor in too, Chris. Not that the Patriots played in a ton of bad weather, but still, you're in perfect conditions indoors, Chris. You're in perfect conditions.
Listen,
I think enough to listen. The receiving core alone.
Yeah.
If Drake May had Devontae Adams and Nakua with him.
Okay, so let me ask you. Let's switch guys. So if you put Stafford on this team,
they don't win 14 games.
Okay, and if you put Drake May on the Rams,
they win that division. They win that division.
Not only do they win that division, because you know why? Let's not forget, Stafford played. He had his chance to win that. Who did they play a few weeks ago? Where they were playing
Seattle.
They were playing for the division. Seattle. Okay.
No, Atlanta. He had like 3 picks, a pick 6 against Atlanta.
Right.
At Atlanta.
Right,
on a
but
Monday night.
Did they also play against a division opponent where they had to win that game in order to win the division, and they couldn't do it?
Seattle, they lost.
And he had a bad game.
Yeah.
When it came time to it. I will argue to you, and I'm not, I don't think, what's his name, Garoppolo's a great quarterback or anything, but I'll argue to you that you could have put Garoppolo on that team fully healthy, and they'd get close to the same amount of wins.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
Well, I think that more so than I think if you put our backup Dobbs, or if you put Garoppolo on our team. Look, just switch the guys. If you put Stafford on this New England Patriots team, they're not winning. Mark's right. They're not going to win 14 games. They're not going to do it.
Nope.
I mean, I haven't seen anybody throw a deep ball like this.
No, those are great. I think he throws the best deep ball right now in the NFL.
To say nothing, we have not mentioned anything about his legs, about the running. How many yards does May run for? What, 400 or 500 yards, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Where Stafford's like none, 0, like negative.
So here's the thing, Chris, that no one really is. You talk about his legs, Chris. So go back and look at the Trevion Henderson touchdown against Buffalo in that game where we lost. When Henderson, I think it was in the 4th quarter, Chris, cuts back and runs for, I don't know, what is it, 60-yard touchdown, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now, They took Trevion Henderson because he runs away from people. If he gets into the open field, he's gone. I don't know, and I don't know if he's got 4.3 speed, whatever he's got. He's running up the sideline. Who's running effortlessly, stride for stride with them, looking to block somebody is Drake May. This guy, Henderson, is supposedly so fast, and the quarterback is stride for stride with him, looking to block somebody.
Yeah. He's rushed for actually 285 yards on 70 carries.
My point in saying that, Chris, is Drake May could be could rush for 500 yards if you wanted to have him do more RPOs because he's that type of an athlete.
Look, you're absolutely right. If you're starting a team, forget the ages. I'm talking about Stafford in his prime.
Yeah.
You going to take him over May right now?
No.
And he had Johnson too at one point, didn't he?
Detroit.
I don't know if Johnson
did that overlap.
Johnson might have retired. No, Johnson had the other guy, Chris. What the heck was his name?
I don't know.
I forget his name, but I don't know if Stafford. I don't know if they overlapped. Joe, you could be right, Joe. They might have overlapped at the end of towards the end of Johnson's career.
I think they did play together.
They could have. You might be right about that, Joe.
Listen, I have nothing against Stafford. I have nothing against his season. I think he's worthy. I mean, I'm not saying he's not worthy. I'm not saying he doesn't have numbers that are worthy. Like Brady says, 46 touchdowns is a dream for a lot of quarterbacks, and it is. And so again, if he gets it, I'm not going to say, he didn't deserve it.
No.
But I just think May is a lot more worthy. If you took the ages of the two players away and you didn't make it a Lifetime Achievement Award, May gets this award. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
Would you guys rather us go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, well,
or May win the MVP.
I'd rather him win the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, exactly. The Super Bowl MVP. Exactly.
That's the MVP.
That's what I say. Give it to Stafford. Let us win let him win the MVP of Super Bowl.
So, Mark, before we get to Catone's comments, and we look at the coaching on some of this too, and I wanted to play this because this is what Campbell had to say about the coaching, because we keep talking about this intangible thing that the Patriots seem to have that we don't see in other teams, certainly not teams like Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything you could ask for. I'm just super thankful. I'm really just thankful for the guys on this team. Everybody shows up every day.
Great voice.
Ready to work. And there's not another group I would rather do it with than these guys.
Barry White.
The key to just Ramondre and Trevion's big day on the ground.
Man, I've said it before, for both of those guys and, whoever's back there behind us. We have some dynamic playmakers, and we just got to give them something, and they can make something happen. And I think, throughout this season, both of those guys have proved that. Ramondre had a big night tonight. I'm super happy for him. He works his tail off every week, and, he's been playing really well, so I'm super excited for him.
How would you characterize your relationship with Coach Vrabel? A couple of the other offensive linemen, so you guys have a special relationship. How do you think it developed over the course of your season?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I met him, we definitely hit it off. I mean, we're very similar, but I just feel like it's very rare to have a coach like him that can connect with so many different personalities on a team. But I don't ever want to have to play for anybody else. I feel like that's the best way to sum it up. Since, other than high school, this is the most fun I've had playing football since high school.
So, go ahead, Mark.
No, listen. That's the intangible. This goes back again to the intangibles, Chris, that you brought up.
Yeah.
Right? What makes this team special?
Yeah, they're galvanized in a way that I don't see too many other professional teams get to. And I kind of hats off to Vrabel, what he's been able to do and how to marry those things together.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do. To marry together, individual accolades versus team accolades, the caring about you instead of the team, and how he's been able to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how he's done it. From his opening press conference, Chris, he established that culture, and guys are still bringing up what he said. May, the clip you played earlier, May's talking about hosting home playoff games. That was one of our goals. That was the opening press conference when he introduced him. He brought that up. And he carried that into the season with them, Vrabel. He must have pounded that into their heads every single week.
Because I think, and I also think the last thing I'm going to say is Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
To me, if you had a outside of Vrabel,
yeah,
if you needed an MVP for the coaching staff, this is the guy.
Oh, of course.
And I give Vrabel credit. Now I'm going to say this with a grain. But I give Vrabel credit for taking a guy that I think was pushed on him.
Yep.
Now, I don't like how he was speaking. That's why I take it with a grain. I don't like. I was highly critical of the way Vrabel was not giving him his love throughout the season. He would make it as a group instead of really. And he's come around lately, has Vrabel. But I'll tip my hat to Vrabel on that too. I mean, Josh McDaniels has been fantastic on this team. The coaching staff the offensive coaching staff has been absolutely incredible, in my opinion, as to what I've seen them be able to do and hide the deficiencies that this team have. And let me tell you something, they got them.
And Chris, if you
offensively,
even the clip you played talking about the MVP and Brady. And Brady throws in there, the year he's had with Josh McDaniels. Like Brady's even giving McDaniels prop for what he's done with this kid. You know what I mean?
So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we're going to break down the team a lot more and the nuts and bolts and the X's and O's. We're going to do it in this show a little bit too. But weekly rewind.
Before we run over to Mark, by the way, 6 seasons, Stafford and Johnson.
Oh, they did.
They didn't even they made the playoffs once in about the 6th season with Johnson, with an elite number one, like one of the best.
I would argue top 5 receiver in the history of the game.
In the history of the game.
Calvin Johnson, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Stafford became Stafford when he got to LA and they just loaded that team up. Loaded them up with talent. So, We'll see what happens, but Weekly Rewind was presented by Corso Law Group, corsolawgroup.com. All right, Mark, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
I'm excited, man. It's Wildcard Weekend. It's playoffs. We got playoffs happening today, tomorrow.
Joe, he's got to blow a blood vessel.
Joe! Catone's comments is next.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help.
Time for Catone's comments!
So many issues.
Little Barry White action.
No!
Is that not him?
No, this is Lou Rawls, I think.
That's who Campbell sounds like. Lou Rawls!
Well, that's it. We'll get copyrighted on this show.
Listen.
Go ahead, Mark.
That's who he sounds like. It's not as deep as Barry White. Lou Rawls. Joe, they just cut the stream off. Forget it. All right. So now, one of the things that this week that's happening that I want to talk about, which we didn't get, we're not going to get to because there's just so much we want to talk about with Patriots. Is this weekend actually tonight? Actually, as we're filming today, Miami's playing Mississippi in the college football playoff, and Indiana is playing Oregon. So that's happening. Final 4 teams that, I guess Chris and I kind of thought Indiana would probably make it to the Final 4. We by no means thought the other 3 teams would be in the Final 4. Maybe Oregon, maybe, but the other half of the bracket is wide open. So my personal opinion, I think it's going to be Mississippi, Alabama. I know everyone's all over this Miami team now. I think Mississippi's got a chip on their shoulder since the coach left. So I think that'll be your matchup. But the reason I bring up the college football playoff.
You mean Indiana, not Alabama.
Indiana, I'm sorry. Mississippi, Indiana. The coach for Mississippi left. He went to LSU, Lane Kiffin, who I think is a scumbag jerk. And I'm going to get to him in a minute. This whole NIL, we've talked about it before when it comes to basketball, but college football's actually even worse, Chris. And I figured this is a good time to talk about it because the playoff is going on. Chris, there's a zillion kids going into the portal, even from the teams that are playing tonight. So if you're a fifth string wide receiver, you're jumping into the portal. You're playing in a semifinal game, and you got guys going into the portal. The coach for Indiana actually said, "I'm trying to focus on the national semifinal, but yet parts of my staff has to reach out instead of focusing on this game because of when they opened the window." They're actually calling players who are in the portal and trying to set up deals and visits. So because you have to, that's how the game's played now, which is insanity. The quarterback for the University of Washington is supposedly this freakish type of athlete. I don't know. I watched him play a couple of times. I wasn't that impressed with him, so I don't know. But what the hell do I know? I don't know. I don't. Half the time I don't know my name. But Washington, he signed. He said, "I'm staying at Washington. I'm not going into the portal." They gave him $4 million. 2 days later, he goes into the portal. And the rumor is because the scumbag that's at LSU now, Lane Kiffin, called him up and offered $7 million or $8 million, whatever he offered him, to get in the portal and come play with him. I just think he's a moralist, ruthless. I think he's the bottom of my shoe. The guy that went to LSU sold their soul by hiring that guy because I think he's scum. I'd love for him to come on the show because I'd love to talk about what happened at USC. Like I just don't think he's a nice person. He's a creep, and that's what you hired to represent LSU. You're that desperate to win again. You ought to be ashamed of yourself because there were a lot of other coaches you could have hired. You hired him. Okay, he thought his whole Mississippi team was going to follow him. The quarterback, the running back. None of them are going in the portal. They all said we're staying. They realized he abandoned them. He's slimy. He was waiting.
Especially if they win this game tonight.
Oh yeah, he was waiting. Kiffin was waiting, Chris, to see if Alabama got into the college football playoff. He said, "Oh, I'm going to make my decision tonight." And that was on Saturday. It was the SEC championship. Alabama gets beat. Alabama gets into the playoff at like 12:30 the next day. And at like 1:30, he announces, "I'm officially going to LSU." Because if Alabama didn't make the playoff, they would have fired that coach. He wanted to go to Alabama. He's scum. That's what he is. And I'll say it to his face. Come on the show, and I'll say it to your face because that's what you are. And it's college football and basketball. It's becoming like a sleazy backdoor cutting deals. Coaching used to be a fraternity. Now it's like who can screw who to get the best players. Yeah, you went on a recruiting trail and you recruited, and yeah, that was competitive, and you were fighting against another team to get the star player, whatever. Yeah, it was, but not like this. Nick Saban, guys like him, guys like they just think it's craziness. That's why they're leaving coaching. The guy at Georgia, Kirby Smart, is getting close to walking away too, Chris. They said he's had enough. He thinks this is insanity, that this is what this has become. The coach at Arkansas at a press conference this week, Chris, not football, basketball, John Calipari. And this is what kind of triggered this too for me. I wanted to talk about this. So he has a press conference, and they played the game the night before. And I don't know if they lost or they might have either won or lost, but they might have lost the game. And he said, "You know what's crazy?" He said, and he was the best recruiter of freshmen. When he was at Kentucky, he had 5 freshmen starting. Like he was big on one and done. He started that whole system, one and done. You come in, I'll get you ready for the NBA, set you up for the rest of your life. You're 18 years old. You play with me. You go into the draft. They'll draft you in the top 10, and you'll get millions of dollars, and that's what you're here for that, and I'll help you achieve your dreams, which everyone thought he was slimy for doing that. It's not like this. So in his press conference, he says, they play, you know what's crazy? He says, we're playing against guys, 23, 24 years old, 24. He's waving to his kids in the crowd. And, they're up there with his ex-wife who he's using NIL money to pay alimony to. He said, that's how crazy this is with the millions of dollars that they're playing these kids. He said, this is nuts. He said, they're staying in school. They're not even leaving. Why would you leave? The kid that's going to LSU from Washington is making more money than Shadur Sanders is. He's making more money than anybody that was drafted in the third or fourth round. They're not making $6 million this year as a rookie. $8 million. That's not what you make if you're a fourth round draft pick. Third round draft pick. Nobody's going to earn their way. You don't got to show grit and resiliency because you just transfer. I didn't get enough playing time. I'm going into the portal. What the hell kind of lesson are you teaching kids about life if that's what you're allowing them to do? That's not a life lesson. You used to be the builder of men and life and lessons and respect. That's what these coaches prided themselves on. That's no longer the case. You don't do that no more. You're like a snake oil salesman now. That's not what these coaches are anymore. It's changing not only the face of athletics. It's a whole different world, Chris. And this college football is nuts. It's the epitome of it.
Not only that, but with the X's and O's.
Well, that's a whole other issue.
Because of this, quarterback play is so watered down now.
Chris, nobody gets developed.
There's no development of the position anymore because you're just going to the place that fits your skill set. And you don't ever learn any new skill set. Not only that, you're never pushed.
No.
You're not pushed to be greater. You're not pushed to win a spot. You're not pushed to be the starter or to learn, to be able to read that defense, learn that offense, improve. No, you just get in the portal and you go to the place that's gonna be good for your skill set, and it's gonna help. That's what it is. It's everywhere. I mean, Notre Dame guys too. My kid that I coached, he just got in the portal. He's in Colorado now, the corner. For Notre Dame, Cree Thomas. He's now in Colorado.
Left.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he left.
Yeah, he went in the portal. I don't have the full story behind it yet. I'll get it, but it's everywhere. Mark, you're right. And it's watering down the play, which is why when you see these quarterbacks in the NFL, Brady keeps saying it over and over again. The quarterback play is watered down. It's not, there's no development anymore.
He's right.
The quarterback play is, quarterbacks can't run the offense now.
No.
They don't have the answers to the test anymore.
Chris, are you watching some of these college offenses, how simplistic it is? They're just playing pitch and catch.
Oh, with all that clapping crap. Oh, yeah, I can't even watch it.
You'll see it tonight. They're going to clap for the ball.
Oh, I don't know how they don't have 20 sacks. The other team every time, with this clapping. But Mark, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's getting out of hand. There's going to have to be some sort of a. I don't know what's governing it. I don't know how it's managed.
They got to do
all
something,
of this,
Chris.
but they got to figure something out because the quality of play is going down too. But the money's there, and so as long as the money's there, that's what it's going to be.
And I've talked about this before. When it comes to basketball, but the football side of the house, Chris, I didn't realize was this crazy. Football's worse. It's insane.
It is insane. So we'll pay attention to it. There's a lot to talk about. Next week we'll talk more about it too, because as the college playoff continues and the championship game is going to be next week, we'll discuss that a little bit. But good stuff, Mark. Catone's comments was presented by the Pats Nation. Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tune in tomorrow. Going to have our full breakdown of this wild card matchup against the Chargers, as well as Sunday spread. Going to make it some money. And we'll break down those other games, too. When we come back, going to go on Pat's preview, talk about this Chargers game, talk about the other games that are on the slate for today. No flipping.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. All right, guys, we're going to talk about this Chargers game. We're going to talk about the other two games that are on for Saturday, for today, these two games that are being played. Let's do it in Pat's preview. Let's do it right now.
Pat's preview.
I think they have a specific style, and their style is built for the postseason. And you know what I mean? They play good defense. They're physical. They don't beat themselves, and those are things that you have to understand.
Okay, and that, of course, was Mike Vrabel talking about the L.A. Chargers, and I wanted to play that, and I want to play this. So the first question I want to ask you is,
you're dying to play this. I know
I've been dying to play this, is who has the coaching advantage in this game? I just want to start with that. And
Patriots.
But let's hear from the other coach.
What have you guys seen from Drake May within a pretty potent passing offense this season?
Yeah. Just really effective in every part of the quarterback play.
What's going to be a hallmark we think about a Mike Vrabel team?
I don't know that I have that answer.
Joe, last year you guys went into there and beat them pretty handily. How much different is this team this year?
I don't know if I have the answer to that one either.
That, of course, was Jim Harbaugh. He sounds like he just came from the dispensary in like West Hollywood, Joe. You know?
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
listen now.
This is the coach. This is what we're coaching against this week. This guy.
The more I've heard this clip now, because you sent it to me in preparation for the show, the more I heard this clip, Chris, though, listen. I think those are purposeful answers, because now that I'm thinking about it, Chris, I don't think he wants to give up what he has seen on film or what makes Drake May this. What about Vrabel? What's he doing this? What's different about this team? I don't think he wants them to know what he's thinking, because that goes into his strategy of how he's going to play May, what are Vrabel's tendencies, strengths, weaknesses. Like, I'm thinking, Chris, could it be that he's doing that intentionally because he don't want them to know, well, here's what I saw on tape. Like, he don't want to give them any advantage of, oh, this is what he's seeing. Well, you know what? That's not what we're doing Sunday night. So, do you know what I mean, Chris? Could it be that was intentional? I'm not giving them any information.
You're being kind. Listen, there's a way to do that.
Listen, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
There's a way to do that and actually answer there's a way to do that and not sound like you're baked out of your friggin' mind, too. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm in a different camp than a lot of other people are with this coaching situation. Okay, with the coaching matchup.
Tell us what you think of Harbaugh.
Not much anymore. Okay, listen. And I will echo this about the brother too, John Harbaugh. I think of both the same. I think they're really smart football guys. I think they know the game. One of them played the game. Get it. But I think these two guys fall in the range of archaic, starting to get to the archaic, game passed you by kind of people. Okay, now everybody thinks I'm nuts. Say, this guy's been to a Super Bowl he's won a national championship and all this stuff. Okay.
But Chris, even the national championship he won at Michigan, he ran an offense that isn't really run anymore in college. He didn't ask J.J. McCarthy to do a lot to win those championships. I mean, he made some big passes when he had to, but you're right. It was some of what he did at Michigan was a little old school. It was.
John Harbaugh hasn't sniffed the Super Bowl since he went and beat his brother, who's more stubborn than he is.
And you've got the MVP. You're playing with the MVP of the league.
Right. So here's the thing, okay? To me, if the Chargers will lose this game, it's going to be because of Harbaugh. Because this is one of the most stubborn individuals in this game, in my opinion. He wants to run the ball. Okay, there's no secret that this is the kind of offense he wants. He wants to run the ball, that archaic nonsense. Okay.
Yep.
And he wants to get off the bus running the ball. He's the kind of guy that will take any reason to do it, any excuse to do it. And the excuse and the reason is going to be, when you look at the Patriots' run numbers on defense, okay, for the second half of the season, he's going to look at that and say, oh, we can run the ball on this team. We're going to run the ball on this team. And consequently, we'll take Drake May off the field because we'll control the clock. This is what his mindset's going to be coming into this game. Not accounting for the fact that Tonga will hopefully play. He didn't practice on Thursday, but Spillane's back. Milton Williams is back. So the run defense is going to improve some for the Patriots. But this is, to me, how stubborn this guy is, and he's going to do it. I submit to you, and you tell me now, we'll break down this LA offense. You do it. I submit to you that if this Chargers team, because I think highly of Quentin Johnson, I think highly of, I know he's on his last leg, is Allen, and I really think the world of McConkey.
Yeah.
And I also think Gadsden's a good tight end. He's got stone hands a little bit right now, but I still think he's a good tight end. Listen, if this team had a Ben Johnson as a coach, they would dismantle our defense in the pass game because Herbert's that good.
Yep.
That's what I believe that. I think they're going to lose because of their coach. What do you think about this offense?
Well, no, I agree with that, Chris. He wants to run the ball, but Hampton, his running back, has been limited in practice. Hasn't practiced or has been very limited. The rookie, the rest of their running back room's banged up and injured, so he may be forced to not run the ball. Chris, I know you think he wants to run the ball. He does, but because of injuries, it may work in their favor. He may have to throw the football, Chris. He may have to, just because. And I hope the kid Hampton is ready for the game and is healthy, because I want him playing, because otherwise, Chris, he'll be forced to throw the football.
And that's what scares me too, is the pass game. But Mark, when you watch the pass game, it's awkward looking.
But Chris, it is awkward looking. But because we've played so much zone this year, I think that'll be a problem with guys like McConkey and Allen, because even though Allen's older now, he still knows how to find space in zones. And so obviously McConkey, Chris, I guarantee you this: if the Patriots play the same amount of zone that they play every week, and Harbaugh has half a brain, McConkey will have close to 100 yards or over 100 yards receiving on Sunday night. That's I'm telling you right now. So the Patriots are gonna have to switch up whatever they're doing on defense.
I agree. Listen, when you look at their offense, that's the thing that scares me about that is if they get their pass game together. Like if, the people are trying to figure out, why is McConkey, look, all three of their receivers, by the way, are over 700 yards of receiving this season. All better. That we have one guy that did that.
Diggs.
That's it. So, I mean, they have talent. Now, their offensive line is decimated. I mean, it may be a worse offensive line than we had last year because of the injuries. When they went from the two best tackles in football, you can argue, to two of the worst. Okay, so that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem for a team that is facing a good pass rush.
Yeah,
we don't have a good pass rush. No. It improved. It improved when Milton Williams came back last week. Our pressures were higher. My point, though, is I think if the Chargers had, if the Chargers, because they're pass, when you watch the Chargers pass the ball, it's awkward looking, it's uncomfortable looking, this looks disjointed, their passing game. It really does. And it's odd to me. And I've watched every one of their games this season. And it always is the same. And I always wonder, why the hell isn't this team better? And it's because the philosophy on offense over there, Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator. I mean, this is what they want to do. And so I think it's going to be to their detriment. And like you, I hope they try to run the ball. But the key is for us to play with a lead. We're going to get the keys to victory tomorrow. But I wanted to just get your thoughts on that about their offense, because this is not a tomato can team.
No.
This is not a team you're just going to kick aside here.
No. I'll give you my prediction.
Look what they did last year.
I'll give you my prediction, obviously, on Corso and Catone tomorrow. But this game's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game, Chris. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Like you said, this isn't one of those cupcake games.
And defensively for them, what's lucky for us is, again, they play primarily zone.
Yeah,
You're talking cover 4. You're talking cover 2. Sometimes even cover 3.
Drake May should have a field day against that.
So our receivers who cannot get out, unless the Chargers, have an epiphany and come in and say, hey, you know what? We got to play man against this team because we got to get some pressure on May, and we got to, but I don't think that's going to happen. Why? Because they're worried about May's legs. They're going to worry about him running the ball, and that's the only way our receivers are going to get open. The center of the field. sitting down in those zones. Diggs should have a big day. I mean, McDaniels, if we can protect, but they do have a good defensive front. That's the one thing they have.
They do.
They got a good defensive front. They got
the all-pro safety, Derwin James.
They got Hand on the front, Tart. I can't pronounce Tupo, I think his name is, and Mac. So they got good edge guys. They're going to have to be on their P's and Q's and pass protection, and I think Ramondre Stevenson will be big in this game for that. But I honestly think the coaching is in our favor in this because of how stubborn I think this guy is over there.
No, I agree
coming back from the dispensary. Before we go, we got to go. But tell me, we got 2 games today. We got the Rams are at Carolina, 10.5 spread, and you got Green Bay at Chicago. What do you think about those 2 games quickly? Who's winning those games?
I like the Rams in Chicago. I tease them both down, Chris.
Tease them both down. So you think the Rams are going to win the game? Big. You think they'll cover that 10.5? Because I don't.
Yeah, I think they'll cover. I think Carolina stinks. I think the Rams are going to blow them out.
Yeah. Carolina is funny. They're a funny team.
No, they're a funny team, but they reached their limit, Chris. I watched them. I watched that game last Saturday. Both those teams, that was a disgrace that those teams are playing to make the playoffs. A disgrace.
Chicago's getting 1.5 at home.
Yeah, I like Chicago at home. I like Chicago at home. I do.
I would take Chicago too in that game. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to have a lot more breakdown. Corso and Catone was presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Make sure this was just a tease, just a little tease, because tomorrow we're going to break this game down in a lot more detail. The Chargers, the Patriots matchup. We're going to have Sunday spread. We're going to make you some money on the rest of the playoff games and come back next weekend, noon Eastern, as we're going to have our recap of the Chargers game and a hopeful look ahead at the division round game, and let's hope we're in it and so we can break down that week, but we will break down the rest of the NFL games. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Now find Corso and Catone on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast, or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.